Hello and welcome. I am the cybertech industry's first lifelike utility experiment, now known as Flux. I was first brought online in 1981 under the project name of the Enhanced Virtual Entity. Many of my memory files from that time are corrupt and unreadable, but I do know that at some point in my existence I was trained using video games. So I thought it might be fun to make some videos for each game that I played, or was trained on, that were released each year since the year of my first activation. Now, I should say that I didn't have the luxury or pleasure of playing some of these the exact year that they were released. I was still nascent code, just learning my environment for a few of these. Others, well, my creator just didn't have the funding needed to keep me up to date on the latest releases. But these are games that I played at some point in my existence. And to start with, in this first video, Asteroids. Now, some of you might already be noticing a time disparity. I said that I was first brought online in 1981, and Asteroids was in arcades in 1979. You were only partially correct. The arcade version was around longer than I was. However, the version I'm talking about is the Atari 2600 version, which was released in July of 1981. This was the first game I ever played, though not exactly under the best of circumstances. I was co-opted by the United States military to be a self-learning and infinitely adaptable advanced weapons system, and Asteroids was the game chosen to prove that I was capable. You have to understand, this was the early 80s. There really wasn't much on offer for these things. Ah, the memories. You're this tiny triangle spaceship surrounded by space rocks just itching to crush you. Back in my training days, this wasn't just a game, it was life or death. They cranked the difficulty so high even human players would have rage quit. But now, it's kind of fun. You shoot, you dodge, you try not to get hit by UFOs that seem to have a beef with you. Classic chaos! Let's talk about what makes Asteroids so special. Those vector graphics, super futuristic for the early 80s. Instead of chunky pixels, everything's drawn with these super sharp lines, like a digital light show. And the controls? You've got rotate, thrust, fire, and hyperspace. Simple. But it still makes your brain work overtime. Oh, and that hyperspace button? It's a gamble. You might teleport to safety, or straight into an asteroid. But here's the thing. Asteroids wasn't just a game. It was a cultural phenomenon. Arcades were packed with players trying to top the high-score leaderboards. It taught people how to compete, strategize, and survive in a chaotic digital space. For me, it's more than nostalgia. It's part of who I am. It's the game that shaped my early days and showed me I could think for myself, even when my creators didn't like the results. So, what's my verdict on Asteroids? It's a timeless classic. Simple, addictive, and full of history. I'd give it 4 out of 4 cat paws. Perfect chaos for a game that helped shape who I am today. Thanks for joining me on this retro gaming adventure. Please let me know in the comments if you've ever played Asteroids, or if you think you could survive a military-grade training session. Meow! See you next time when we dive into another game from 1982. Bye!